Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
All right, guys, welcome into the Tuesday edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com. As we continue to roll on here in the association, the playoffs, well, they've certainly been interesting to say the least here. A couple of games last night, a couple of blowouts last night. We got 2 more games tonight. We're going to break down for you those. We look for Game 2, and the Sixers look to get even there with the Hawks. And then the late game out west, the Utah Jazz, LA Clippers, game number 1 in Salt Lake City. That'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So exciting stuff here in the association. And I can't think of 3 gentlemen I would rather break these games down with than the 3 we have on the show today. The Tuesday crew is here with Ski Prophet in the house, leading the way, running point. You got the Godfather, Teddy Covers here, right smack in the middle. And Mr. Mejia, that is Mr. TM, Tony Mejia, hanging out with us here as well. Gentlemen, welcome in. Ski, let me start with you, my man. Talk to us. How was your night last night? It is an interesting playoff so far here. What do you got going tonight at Wager Talk for us?
Yeah, last night I went 1-1 in the NBA. The winner was the Nuggets over. The loser couldn't get any points from the Milwaukee side to get over the first half number. So we'll look to do better today. I have a few plays in the WNBA already posted, and I'll have a play in the NBA after the show.
All right, perfect. Good deal there. Teddy, talk to us, my man. What do you got rolling here today? I know you got something up your sleeve at SportsMemo and WagerTalk.com. What do you got going on for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a real good run the last couple of weeks, but the last couple of days have not been as good. This is the start of the second round for me in the NBA playoffs. Something of a disappointment. Had one play yesterday. That was on the Denver Nuggets, which looked just fine at halftime, and they came out in the third quarter and was not pretty and didn't get any prettier down the stretch for Denver. Still on a 67% NBA playoff run, 58% over the last 3 years in the NBA postseason combined. I am passing from a service standpoint today in the NBA. I am putting the 17-1 MLB hot streak on the line with a single best bet in baseball action for today, and I expect to be back in NBA action tomorrow and or on Thursday.
Yep. That's good to weigh, seeing the forest from the trees, Teddy. Good time, sometimes you step back, overview it, and jump back in. 15 games in the MLB doesn't hurt either there. So, Tony Mejia, talk to us, my man. How did you do last night? I know a lot of people were all excited with the line value they got by taking the Bucks earlier in the day yesterday. So what was going on with you last night? What do you got tonight?
Well, I had a great day because I went 5-0 in soccer. I'm up to 15-2-1 on that, which is perfect because Euro 2020 starts on Thursday, I believe. Copa America's next week, and it's going to be heavy soccer for me for a while. So 88%, that's pretty good. MLB, I hit my best bet. I'm up to 10-3 on 4% money line plays there. I'll put that on the line today. And the NBA, I had my worst playoff day of the season, of the playoffs. 0-4, 0-2 on totals, 0-2 on props. And I was 8-2 on props coming in, so the record still looks decent. But had the over in the Bucks and Nets because I stayed away from the Bucks, thankfully. But they still found a way to screw me. And then the fourth quarter of that Suns Nuggets doomed my under because the Suns couldn't miss. But impressive performance from Phoenix. We'll look to get back on track today. Still 8-0 on 5% plays these playoffs. Haven't gotten back in that saddle yet. Probably will once these second round series, these semis unfold more.
All right, plenty of opportunities here, guys. Not only in the association moving forward, but MLB. He told you the Euros are just around the corner there. And, of course, WNBA with Ski. So no reason, guys, not to head over to WagerTalk.com and visit all 3 of these gentlemen as we take a look at game number 1 here tonight, which happens to be game number 2 of this series in the East between the Hawks and the Sixers. And let's face it, it's been a lot of Sixers money here. I see sixes popping up all over the place. I'm seeing a total of 224. That seems to be a pretty good consensus, up from 222.5. So, Ski, I'll come to you. We saw a much different Sixers team in the second half than we saw in the first half of Game 1. What do you think we're going to see from the Sixers tonight?
Well, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the series that we saw from the Sixers in round 1. In the first game, they allowed a lot of points, and for a team that's second defensive rated team over the entire season. And then what do we see for the next two? They held them under 100. They held them to 103. And I'm kind of thinking that's more along how this game is going to go, because all that I heard Doc Rivers talk about from the moment that the game ended was defense. He said, we shot 55% from the field. We didn't have any problems on offense. We can't allow them to score 128 points. So a team like that, that's been proven all season long to play defense, I would trust them to be better in this one. And for that reason, I lean towards the Sixers side. It is tough to go up against what we've seen from the Hawks. I know McMillan is 32-12 straight up since he became head coach, 28-15-1 against the spread. So lean Sixers, but more I'll look towards the total. And like I said, heard the emphasis from Doc Rivers about defense. I've seen them do it before in the previous rounds. And if Embiid doesn't play, it'll be a bonus because they're 10-3 to the under when he doesn't play. Those games reaching just about 218 points. And even if he does, I just think the effort for defense will be there. And we won't see both teams shoot above 50% from the field. We won't see Atlanta shoot 40% from three. Probably won't see an Atlanta 42-point first quarter, Philadelphia 41-point fourth quarter. So I like less points in this game. And if I'm going to look at a couple props, if I'm going to look for the Atlanta side, it's hard to ignore Trae Young. I mean, he's averaging like 30 points in the playoffs so far. His point total is only 27.5. Other than that, I mean, obviously, I think that some of the defensive attention will be shifted towards him. So maybe you choose between one of these, but Bogdanovich, points, rebounds, assists at 24.5, that seems pretty doable. He's went over 9 of the last 10. And outside of that, one last one I thought was pretty interesting. Collins' assist is only 0.5. So he only has to have one, and he's had one every time he's played Philadelphia this year. So that's what I'm looking at today.
Yeah, it's, I mean, Teddy, Trae Young, what can you say about it? Pretty impressive there for a guy in his first couple of playoff games. Really is just kind of taking this team to another level. But the problem is, are you expecting Atlanta to drain 23-pointers again, 47%, or do you think that regresses here a little bit in game 2?
I would expect it to regress for multiple reasons, primary of which Ski just talked about, where when we think about the Philadelphia 76ers, their strength defensively was very much on the perimeter. I mean, they were a good defensive team all season in the low post as well. But opposing teams didn't consistently get the type of open looks from three-point range that the Atlanta Hawks got against Philly in the first round. So I don't expect the Hawks to hit three-pointers at the same rate that they did in game number 1 of this series. All that being said, I've been talking up Philly back half of the regular season, the start of the postseason. And at this point, right now, I got to tap my brake on the 76ers because we've seen now in the Wizards series, Philly's defense wasn't as good as it was during the regular season. Now we've got Embiid with the torn meniscus that he's working through. And once again, we have Philly not playing the level of defense that we expect. Now, one of the things that, and this only comes from doing the NBA playoffs for the last 25 years or 30 years, but it feels like every year, and you can go back year by year and figure out which team or which two teams. Every year there's a team or two in the postseason that gets hot and covers a bunch of point spreads and goes farther than expected. Last year, that team was the Miami Heat. If you just bet on Miami throughout the postseason, until they reached the point where they were out of gas and not good enough anymore, all you did is win games and cover point spreads. Atlanta's been outplayed for a grand total of, one half so far in the playoffs, the second half in game 2 against the Knicks. I mean, Philly made a run in the second half, but Atlanta wasn't badly outplayed in the second half of game one of this series. It's a Hawks team that has proven to be an undervalued commodity here in the postseason. And right now, for me, Atlanta's a one-way team. I'm not betting the Hawks. I'm not playing the game.
All right, Teddy's avoiding it at all costs here today. How about you, Tony Mejia? Talk to us. We saw I think the total closed 220.5, somewhere around there in game one. The books did adjust it up here a little bit, but what do you think we're going to see here tonight in this matchup?
Yeah, I don't like this game at all. I'm waiting to see that Joel Embiid is cleared to make full determinations, but lots of interesting, subplots here. How quickly does Doc Rivers turn to full court pressure? Because it obviously bothers Atlanta and gets them out of the way. I don't think that should be a desperation tactic. I think he should sprinkle that in as often as possible. How quickly do we see Matisse Thybulle on Trae Young, since Danny Green obviously couldn't handle him? And then, I think that pulls Green off of the court because you still need Seth Curry out there. I really like the fact that Seth Curry is looking for his shot. And
all right, and we got a frozen Mejia. Okay. Yeah, you got it. One more time. Just go ahead, Tony. Finish that last sentence right there. You said frozen, and then we lost you. And he's still frozen. There we go. All right, good deal. Oh, wait, is he back? Wait, we'll get him one more time here. Mejia, you back, my man?
I am back. I think I'm having internet issues because it's stalling in and out. So
not a problem. I just bottom line, you said frozen, and then you froze. So what were you? Just finish that last thought if you could.
Well, I mean, I think Atlanta can be punished because they don't have DeAndre Hunter. So you got Solomon Hill. You got to funnel possessions over to him. He's not a good shooter. Tony Snell has been a good shooter coming off the bench. So Bogdanovich, I think, has to be less hesitant. So it's a game that I think can go.
Like your internet. Okay, not a problem. Good. We got you, man. Hang in there. We'll get you refreshed, and you'll be good to go. Not a problem. Teddy, I did want to ask you, though, quick. Sixers series price right now, if you were somebody that did not buy in originally, didn't like the price, they're hovering around at minus 140. Would this be the time to jump in on Philly?
First of all, that's the line of the day. Tony goes, you got to go in just like your internet. That's spot on, brother. Nice segue.
Thank you very much.
But if you're, again, there have been bargains this postseason in terms of series price. We think about the Clippers down 2-0 against the Mavs. You get them at a nice plus price. If I'm playing the Sixers series right now, it's Philly minus 140. No question.
40, right, gotcha.
And really, you can find minus 135 if you shop around. You can find minus 130 if you shop around. That's a bargain price on the 76ers.
Yep.
It is. My problem is that I right now I've seen enough from Atlanta to think that the Hawks are live in this series in a way that I didn't think they were prior to the opening tip. So, yeah, now's the time to bet Philly if you love Philly or if you like Philly. I'm going neutral on Philly right now. I need to see them win a game in this series before I'm comfortable. And, of course, if they win the game, this jumps back up. So makes sense to look at the 76ers now from a series price perspective. It's not a bet that I've made myself yet this morning.
All right, good stuff there, guys. That one, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time tip-off. We'll move to the 10 o'clock tip-off, the late game. Game number one between the Clippers and the Jazz. This game is, I see a lot of threes as a consensus. I'm seeing the total came down just a hair as well, 220.5 in a number of spots. Tony Mejia, I'll come to you here, my friend. Utah, well-rested. Clippers coming off that 7-game series. Does it even matter given the experience that they have on the court? What do you think we're going to see here in game one of this set?
I mean, I think it matters. They haven't played since June 2nd, and the Clippers have been battle-tested. And they're going to be given a little more room to roam with Mike Conley not out there pestering and not as much zone being employed by Quinn Snyder as it was by Rick Carlisle. So do they get into a flow pretty quickly? These teams haven't seen each other, I think, since February. So it should be one of those games where there's a feeling out process early, but I expect the Clippers to be really aggressive in trying to send a message, and hopefully that fits within Kawhi's personality, because sometimes he is passive. Him and Paul George, I think, have to answer the call today, because Donovan Mitchell's a killer, and on that home floor, he elevates his game even more. So I expect to see a really fun matchup, similar to Phoenix and Denver, and giving us a sampling of what's ahead.
Yeah, it's Ski. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they 109 points with Donovan Mitchell in Game 1 against Memphis. Then every other game after that, it was they just kept going 120 and higher there. So he's a big difference maker here. What do you think we're going to see from Donovan and company here tonight in Game 1?
Yeah, Tony said he didn't love the other game. I don't really love this game. I mean, Game 1, kind of a fill out kind of thing for me. How I initially feel about it now is I think that the Jazz will be rusty. And in general, like, I think over the course of the game, they can wear the Clippers down, especially coming off of that 7-game series. But to start the game, maybe Clippers bring a little bit of momentum into it. They just won a few games in a row. I probably would look towards the Clippers early and think that they fade out as the game goes on. So I'll lean Clippers first half maybe and Jazz full game, but don't feel very strong about it.
All right, good stuff. Teddy, we know just before we came on air, we learned Mike Conley not going here tonight. He is out for Utah. We did kind of see another team last night, just got off a 7-game series in Denver. They played really well in the first, second, not so much. You think maybe the same thing here tonight with the Clippers? They come out firing, but maybe fade away there in the second?
So the betting markets tend to knee-jerk against teams that just played a 7-game series. And you'll generally see the favorites be, especially when they have to go on the road to open the next series, like the Clips do here. You'll see the favorites from a power rating standpoint, they tend to be boosted by an extra point or two. I'm not seeing that here. And maybe that's something to do with Mike Conley. But I also think it's respect for the Clips in the betting markets and or lack of respect for Utah in the betting marketplace. And when a team faces the abyss, like the Clips did, down 2-0, down 3-2, when they face the abyss and they rally back, those tend to be bet-on teams moving forward. Now, the Clips are a team that sometimes needs adversity. Maybe you want the Clips, down to when they're down in a series as opposed to coming into the series. But I do worry about the rust factor here for Utah. They haven't been a good point spread team with extra time this season. And when you think about the knee-jerk reaction of the betting markets, and when you see it 100 times and you don't see it here, it stands out that you're not seeing it here. Markets are telling us the Clips are alive in this game, and I don't disagree. From a total standpoint, it's definitely worth noting. All right, that Game 7 with Dallas and LA, from a pace standpoint, it was a dead nuts under game. It was every bit as slow as game 6, which finished 15 points under the total.
Yep.
But the shot making, especially on the Clips side, was extraordinary. From an offensive efficiency standpoint, the Clippers were tremendous in that ballgame. And if we have a game here with tremendous offensive efficiency, the under is not going to be any good. But I wouldn't be surprised. This pace is a little bit slow. Lean under, lean Clips. But again, they're both in the lean category. Haven't pulled the trigger on either one.
Ski, let me ask you from a series perspective here. It's pretty much, it looks like a pick 'em. Utah minus 120, the Clippers just, plus 105. If you were looking to bet this on the series, do you think it's pretty much going to be like this throughout, or do you think there's value one way or the other right now?
Why are you doing this to me, Joe?
Yeah. You wouldn't. You hated the game. I'm asking you the series now.
Honestly, I mean, you know which one I don't want to win from a fan perspective. But if I have to say, who I'm putting my money on, I probably would pick the Clippers at the plus price just because I don't think the Jazz are that great as a team as they've shown during the regular season. So I would take the plus money with Clippers right now.
Tony, you agree? Would it be, or maybe hold off, hope Utah wins and get the Clippers after Game 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the preferred strategy, just because Utah should win this game, because the Clippers are coming off a 7-game series. But I'm with Ski. I think that the Clippers are the deeper team, and at plus money, you can't go wrong. Before the playoffs started, somebody asked me pick a team. I said, well, Utah's got home court and they're pretty good, and the West is wide open. I don't believe in the Lakers. So, go ahead and go with that because you're getting home court through the entire postseason, including the finals. But now that we see that Kawhi Leonard has awoken after that ridiculous performance and the loss that they had, the last loss that they had, it's a game changer. Because Paul George will get him where he fits in. DeMarcus Cousins is going to make his presence felt in this series.
Ooh.
So after not playing against Dallas for matchup reasons, they're going to throw him out there to try to get Gobert in foul trouble. Rondo is going to be a factor. We've already seen Terrence Mann do what he does. Marcus Morris exploded for 7 threes in Game 7. And the big key for Utah, Joe Ingles, who's been tremendous all season, kind of in a shooting slump.
Oh, look at that. Cousins hurt himself going to the bathroom. I'm only kidding. All right, guys, that's Game 2. That's 10 p.m. Eastern time tonight for the tip-off there. Game 1 of that Western Conference series should be a good one for sure. All right, it is time. 2 games on the board, a lot of different ways to go. So we'll ask the guys to wrap up a best bet, point us in the direction of one way they might be looking and leaning. So, Ski, I'll start with you, my friend. You rattled off a whole bunch in the first one. So give me one that you're really centering in on here tonight.
No, I have to bring this up really quick, but talking about DeMarcus Cousins, I was on a date with this girl. She doesn't even follow basketball that closely. And I said, oh, they signed DeMarcus Cousins to a 10-day contract. She said, yeah, because he's going to get hurt in 11. So I just thought it was interesting that she knew that. For my best bet, I'm going to go to the first game that we talked about. And I don't see that there's any way for both teams to shoot that well again. And if I like the Sixers even a little bit, I know Teddy said he likes the Hawks, but he still likes the Sixers for the series. If they're going to have a chance, it's going to have to start on the defensive end. They're not going to be able to allow them to score 128 points. I don't think Atlanta shoots that well, 43% from 3 again. And like I said before, we saw Washington run it up on them in Game 1. The next 2 games, I think like 98 points scored, 103 points scored. I think that's the kind of game that we get today. So I like the under 224 in this one.
All right. We're going to be under there in the Sixers-Hawks game. Teddy, certainly not on the game here tonight at WagerTalk or Sportsmemo, but talk to us. Which way are you leaning between these 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, from an opinion standpoint, like I said when I was breaking down the Hawks-Sixers earlier, every year in the NBA postseason, and sometimes there's 2 teams, but every year there's a team that gets hot and goes on a run. Last year was Miami. Go back to 2019, Toronto, 2018 when Boston went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you made money with the Celtics throughout for the first couple rounds. Right now, to me, Atlanta looks like that team. I've got the utmost of respect for the 76ers. I'm certainly not going to look, and again, if I had to make a series bet today, it probably would be on Philly minus 140 to win the series. But +6 to me seems a little rich against a team that has overachieved, is playing their best ball of the year right now, and is facing an opponent whose best player is hurt and who isn't playing defense. Atlanta plus.
All right, grab them points, Teddy says. All right, Mahia, it's up to you, my friend. A lot of different ways to approach these 2 games tonight. Give us one of them.
Well, since my AT&T fiber optics betrayed me in the Sixers thing, let me go ahead and analyze that for a little bit before I give you my best bet, since it's nice and full now. There's no way I'm laying 6 points with Philadelphia, because while the Sixers were able to trim that deficit with pressure against the Hawks in Game 1, the Hawks can do a very similar thing by playing Hackeben, because he still doesn't look very confident at the free throw line. And they have shooters. They have Bogdanovich. They have Trae Young that can pull up. So a 12-point lead can become a 6-point lead very quickly. If that is even the case, where they're able to slow down Trae Young. If I'm Philadelphia, I'm going to Joel Embiid early. Hopefully he plays, and try to get Clint Capella out of there, because nobody else can handle it. As for my best bet, Marcus Morris Sr., he's feeling himself, very confident, comes off a 7 3-pointer game. He will be that safety valve again and will top 12.5 points, which is the available point prop wherever it is.
Really nice of Robert to let you finish that thought, though. Very nice, Robert. Way to go, man. We're still going Morris over points tonight here for sure. All right, guys, there you go. 2 games on the board. To recap the best bets, where these guys are leaning. Ski is looking at the Hawks Sixers under the points of 224. Teddy says, give me the 6 points there with the Hawks. And Tony Mejia says, Marcus Morris going to have plenty of opportunities here tonight to go over the 12.5 points. And keep in mind, guys, of course, their cards, their best bets up and locked and loaded today at WagerTalk.com. All you have to do is visit Ski, visit Teddy Covers, of course, and visit Tony Mejia. Get over to their pages, get those 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages. Never miss a play. And, of course, make it a profitable evening. MLB on tap here tonight, guys. We got WNBA, and, of course, we got games in the association. A lot of ways to make some money tonight and cash a few tickets. It starts by heading over to WagerTalk.com. So on behalf of Ski, Teddy, and Tony, guys, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Come back and join us again tomorrow as we do it all over again here on the NBA Tip-Off Show. Best of luck with your plays, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Sign up for the free WagerTalk Text Club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.